And let's stay with this story and go in depth. And to help us do that, Professor Yang Jun-sok is joining us right here in the studio. Thanks so much for coming in for us today.
Happy to be here.
Yes. So do you agree with one of the points, one of the last points that were made in the report that OPEC has stepped closer to a global price war?
Well, I think they're considering a lot of factors, including their competitors. OPEC right now only has about 40% of global production. Russia is the largest producer, so I think they figure that if they cut their supply and then instead of raising the global oil prices, it'll just increase the sales for Russia, so it'll actually be feeding money into Russia's pocket. Also, I think you have to consider their regional domestic politics, and also America is starting to gear up its production of shale oil.
Right.
So I think the OPEC members considered all that and thought that if they cut production now, try to raise prices, it'll mean more harm for the OPEC members than good.
So all the elements that you talked about points us, at least me, in one direction, possibly decreasing influence of the OPEC itself. I mean, oil minister of Nigeria, for one, that said non-OPEC countries' involvement is necessary for them to actually, move the oil prices up. What's your take? Okay,
well, theoretically, if you look at the behavior of these cartels, it's always very difficult to maintain cartels. But as we just mentioned, OPEC only accounts for about 40% of global production now. They're actually 60% is produced by non-OPEC members. So even if they do decide to cut production, if they cannot influence the other 60% production, it's not going to do that much good.
So we saw in the markets the immediate effects of lower oil prices. Airline stocks enjoyed a bump, but do you think that this is going to be a long-term development? Do you see these prices being stable at this level for the near term?
It's possible, but that's, I think, actually bad news. I think there's some analysts who say that because the United States and some other countries are coming up with shale oil and the potential supply is so huge that it'll keep the global prices down. I don't share that particular optimism on that. I think major component of why the prices are down currently is that global economic news has been pretty gloomy for the last month or so. It's reflecting the drop-off in potential future demand. And I think if we do get some good news about the European economy or Japanese or Chinese economy, I think the prices are likely to go back up to the previous levels again.
So for the Korean economy, which is so dependent on oil imports, is this going to help our economy?
Well, it's always better to have cheaper prices, cheaper gas prices, cheaper oil prices for Korean firms and consumers. I think, though, at least for the consumers, the effect of the lower dollar price of oil has been mitigated somewhat by the weakening Korean won. For the exporters, it's good news, but it's not as a good news as I think some people are mentioning, because this is shared by all the Korea's competitors. Japan, China, they all see lower oil prices. But I think we've been given a breathing room, so at least we don't have to worry about high oil prices for now.
Okay. All right. Well, Professor, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your insights.
Thank you.